Spinosaurus has become a fascinating topic of interest in recent years, largely due to the major reconstructions of its body and its unique environmental adaptations. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into everything you need to know about Spinosaurus, from its classification to its incredible size and weight. Let's start at the very beginning. Spinosaurus is not just any dinosaur. It belongs to a specific genus within the Spinosauridae family, a branch of the larger theropod group. The members of the Spinosauridae family were particularly well known for their crocodile-like snouts and evolutionary traits that allowed them to thrive in semi-aquatic environments. Among these fascinating creatures, Spinosaurus stands out as a true apex predator. In fact, it was the successor to another massive spinosaurid known as Suchomimus, which itself was one of the dominant predators of its time. Now let's shift our attention to the size of this colossal dinosaur, because when we talk about Spinosaurus, its size is truly something to marvel at. According to recent scientific studies, Spinosaurus is estimated to have reached a height of approximately 16 feet and an astounding length of about 52 feet. These dimensions make it not only the longest terrestrial carnivore to have ever walked the Earth, but also place it among the tallest known theropods, especially when you include the massive sail on its back in the height measurement. That sail, a distinctive feature of Spinosaurus, contributed significantly to its overall stature. However, when we talk about the biggest carnivorous theropods, it's important to note that weight is a more critical and telling factor than just height or length. So, how heavy was Spinosaurus really? To answer that, we turn to the findings of Paul C. Serino and his research team, who conducted extensive studies on the weight estimates of Spinosaurus. Based on their research, the average weight of Spinosaurus is calculated at approximately 7.5 tons when lower bone density is assumed. When higher bone density is considered, the estimates increase to around 8.3 to 8.5 tons. It's important to remember that these numbers represent the upper range of average weight estimates, not the maximum. As for the maximum weight, Spinosaurus could potentially have reached between 8.7 and 9 tons, placing it firmly among the heaviest carnivorous theropods ever discovered. Here is a comparison between the Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus, and as you can see, Spinosaurus is bigger and heavier than the adversary. But do these astonishing dimensions automatically mean that Spinosaurus was the uncontested apex predator in its region? To truly answer that question, we need to take a closer look at its fighting capabilities, the very traits that would define its dominance in its ecosystem. At first glance, some might assume that Spinosaurus, despite its size, was an easy target, a so-called meat bag for other, perhaps more agile carnivores. But that assumption couldn't be more wrong. In reality, Spinosaurus was far from defenseless. In fact, its immense size alone would have been enough to intimidate and deter even the largest and most fearsome theropods of its time. Size, after all, matters in the animal kingdom, and Spinosaurus had plenty of it. Now let's talk about its diet and what it says about its physical prowess. Spinosaurus primarily fed on fish, and not just any fish. We're talking about enormous aquatic prey, some weighing as much as modern-day hippos. Hunting such massive fish required extraordinary speed, precision, and strength, especially in the neck and jaw. To successfully grab and lift these slippery, heavy creatures from the water, Spinosaurus had to rely on lightning-fast reflexes, which, according to studies, places it among the fastest-reacting theropods ever known. In addition to its reflexes, Spinosaurus was armed with a powerful bite. Its bite force has been estimated to range between 12,000 and 14,000 pounds per square inch. When this immense pressure is combined with its long, narrow jaws lined with sharp, gripping teeth, the result is nothing short of lethal. This anatomy was perfectly suited not just for holding onto fish, but also for inflicting catastrophic injuries on any terrestrial or aquatic rival that dared to challenge it. Still not convinced about the devastating power of its bite? Well, take a close look at this image. This powerful visual clearly demonstrates the ferocity of Spinosaurus's attack capabilities. In the image, Spinosaurus is shown having bitten through the thick skin of another formidable predator, the Carcharodontosaurus, and driven its teeth directly into the vertebrae of the unfortunate theropod, and it doesn't show any signs of healing. Another fascinating aspect of Spinosaurus that often goes underappreciated is its unique fighting stance, particularly when it came face-to-face with other large theropods. This remarkable combat posture is known as the tripod stance. In this stance, Spinosaurus would rear up on its powerful hind limbs while simultaneously placing its long, muscular tail on the ground, effectively using it as a third point of support, much like a tripod. This setup allowed Spinosaurus to maintain exceptional stability, even during intense confrontations. With its tail acting as a third leg, it gained not only balance, but also the ability to pivot and shift direction quickly, giving it a strategic edge in battle. The very existence of this stance speaks volumes about Spinosaurus's physical strength and coordination. To maintain such a position, while dealing with the force and momentum of combat, required a powerful, well-coordinated musculoskeletal system, especially in the hind limbs and tail. It was not just a visual display of dominance, but a functional adaptation that directly contributed to its survival and superiority as a predator. In addition to its balanced combat stance, Spinosaurus was surprisingly fast, a trait that often catches people off guard, especially when they look at its relatively short and stocky hind limbs. But despite the appearance, these legs were highly muscular and efficient, capable of producing impressive bursts of speed. Scientific estimates suggest that Spinosaurus could accelerate up to around 24 kilometers per hour in short bursts, allowing it to quickly close in on prey or evade potential threats. Even more astonishing is its ability to maintain a steady pace of approximately 16 kilometers per hour over longer distances, showcasing the endurance and raw power of its locomotive system. Taken together, the tripod fighting stance, the unexpected speed, and the strength of its limbs, these traits paint a clear picture of Spinosaurus not just as a towering aquatic hunter, but as a formidable land-based combatant as well. Its agility and adaptability made it one of the most well-rounded predators of its era. Spinosaurus was not limited to a diet of fish alone. Although it thrived in semi-aquatic habitats and is often seen as a river-stalking predator, more recent research suggests that it also spent a significant amount of time on land. This shift in understanding has broadened the picture of its feeding behavior. Evidence now indicates that Spinosaurus also ate terrestrial dinosaurs, including Ouranosaurus, a sail-backed herbivore that lived in the same Cretaceous environment. Whether it fed on fallen individuals, scavenged carcasses, or had occasional confrontations, remains a topic of study. But what's clear is that Ouranosaurus was part of its diet, reflecting Spinosaurus's opportunistic feeding habits. In addition to large fish and land-dwelling dinosaurs, Spinosaurus's dietary range extended even to flying reptiles. Fossils of pterosaurs have been discovered bearing distinct Spinosaurus bite marks, indicating that these creatures, whether grounded or airborne, sometimes ended up as meals. To reach or subdue such agile prey, Spinosaurus must have possessed great neck strength, a wide striking range, and powerful jaws, allowing it to either drag these animals down from the air or pin them decisively to the ground. These discoveries underline not only the variety in its diet, but also its ability to dominate multiple layers of its ecosystem, from rivers and lakes to dry land, and even the skies above. And that wraps up our deep dive into the mighty Spinosaurus, a creature that defied expectations, shattered records, and ruled land, water, and even the skies in its own fierce way. From its crocodile-like jaws to its towering sail, Spinosaurus wasn't just a predator, it was a force of nature. If you enjoyed learning about this prehistoric powerhouse, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more epic dinosaur content, and leave a comment telling us which dinosaur you'd like us to cover next. Until then, keep your curiosity roaring, and we'll see you in the next one.